Hey, what's up guys, Sedge here. Welcome to a new video. So how's everybody doing? I'm doing quite well, thank you for not asking as always. I'm kidding. But anyway guys, so I've got a little bit of PvP here from Dark Souls 3 that I recorded today. Some pretty good fights I actually had. Not too many ganks, but towards the end there were a couple and I just managed to get wrecked. There's actually a ridiculous game I had that made me not mad, but really summarized how I feel, and the majority of the invasions you get in this game, it really does, it's almost like the definition, and it's ridiculous, and you guys will see that, and I'm gonna rant a little bit about that in this video. But anyway guys, so as you can tell by the title, this is no average PvP video. It's actually very different, something completely new, and it might become more common later in the future depending on the feedback. But I do have to give a little shout out to my friend Stealthy. He probably has no idea that he actually did quote unquote inspire me to make this video, because I remember seeing his old video that said things I want for Dark Souls 3, and not too long ago I was in a party on PSN with him, and I just randomly remembered that video, and I was streaming not too long ago, and I got so many cool ideas that could potentially be inserted into the DLC and potentially make the PvP better, and I was like, hell, you know, maybe I could make some sort of wish list or something. So here you go guys, here's my wish list. So now a lot of this is going to be, you know, I'm going to be criticizing PvP a lot in this, so if you think that PvP in Dark Souls 3 is perfect, and believe it or not, there are some people that think it's fine, by some, you know, it's literally the minority, but some people genuinely think this PvP is good. And it's usually the people who gank you, you know, the co-opers, they're like, oh, it's fine, but until they really invade, they won't know how cancerous this actually is. But anyway, let's get started. So again, most of this is going to be PvP related. The only real thing I have to moan about, or not moan about, or suggest of the PvE aspect is dynamic lighting. I don't understand why that's not a thing in Dark Souls 3. It was a thing in Dark Souls 1 to an extent, I believe. The Tomb of the Giants had very nice dynamic lighting, and it was a requirement. You know, you needed a torch to get past that area, or else you would most probably die if you were a newcomer, and Dark Souls 3 did not have that so far. So I mean, if they added some sort of very spooky cave or something, you know, that'd be really good, because you'd actually be forced to use a torch. You would have to alter your playstyle, because, you know, if you have a shield, you're obviously going to have to switch that out for a torch, and it's more intense and it's more enticing to the player. You really get to be in your own character's shoes, you get spooked, and it's good shit. I really don't understand why they didn't add this in, especially since a lot of their previous games had it. For example, Dark Souls 1, like I said, that game had it, and it's a 5-year-old game, so surely they could have came up with something. But yeah, I mean, maybe there is some sort of area that you could potentially use a torch in, but I've played through this game 5 times, and never have I felt the need to have a torch, so it might just be me. I do play on the highest brightness, but I feel like they really should have made some sort of area just pitch black completely, because that would, you know, it adds variety to the gameplay. But that's really the only thing I have to moan about in terms of PvE. In general, the PvE is good, it's very nice. Just generally speaking, it's overall good. The PvP, on the other hand, this isn't a rant video. I'm not going to rant about the PvP. If you don't know what's wrong with it, then, you know, obviously you haven't PvP'd before. Just watch somebody else's video. I know that sounds like a dick move to say that, but genuinely just watch somebody else's video and they'll probably give you a lecture on why it's bad. And if you have PvP'd yourself, you will know why it's bad. The ganking, the healing, everything, and that's just like the minor problems. There's so many more. But anyway, so my solution to this would be to add a Darkrave Covenant. Dark Souls 3, as far as I'm aware, does not have a Darkrave Covenant. Now, if they added in a Darkrave Covenant, and Darkraves, as far as I'm aware, in terms of lore, they invade, they kill, blah blah blah, and this covenant could focus on invasions. They could give you an advantage. Maybe you invade with 2 invaders, so you're never alone, you're never facing gankers alone, and this mechanic would work in a way where the game checks if the player has more than 2 phantoms, and if they do, then instantly they get invaded by more than one invader. I don't see why that's a very difficult thing to accomplish. I feel like it'd be a very cool mechanic, because as soon as you step through, not step through, as soon as you get summoned into somebody else's world, you know that you have somebody there to help you, somebody who's on your team, and maybe you can't even attack them, because if you're both in the Darkgrave Covenant, you're like friends, you don't attack each other, you don't do damage to each other. Now, on top of all of that, you could probably also maybe insert more mechanics that would benefit the invader. Maybe when you hit an enemy, you regain a little bit of your health. There's so much potential with adding in a covenant that primarily focuses around invasions. You could argue that the Madman Covenant, or whatever it's called, does focus around invasions, but in all honesty, I don't think so. And even if it does, it just barely does anything. There's really no advantage in being in the Madman Covenant over the Sunlight Covenant. They both just do not do anything to help you or aid you in terms of invasions. Now, I didn't do a lot of research, so maybe they do something, but as far as I'm aware, they really just do not do anything. It's just a matter of preference which one you want to be in. So having a covenant that just literally focuses around invasions, I feel like it'd be very, very good. Now, unfortunately, this does have one downside. This is probably the only con of the idea, and that's the fact that this is technically pay to win if this idea ever gets implemented, and I really doubt it will, because it's just a thought of mine, but it's paid to win, because if somebody cannot afford the DLC, then they cannot have access to the Covenant unless they decide to add it to the original game, which I really doubt they will. But hey, you don't know that, because in Bloodborne they actually added in some sort of NPC, so there is potential that this could go into the original game without the DLC, but I really doubt it. So that's really the only bad thing about it. People have to pay for the DLC if they want the Covenant that will give them an advantage, so it's almost like pay to win. I don't think Bandai Namco is really about that. So, or FromSoft, sorry, I don't know which one to refer to. But yeah, that's one of the ideas I had, and I thought it'd be really, really cool just to give an invader a little bit more advantage. And really the only way it seems like it's possible is with some sort of covenant that just encourages the player to invade. And there can also be rewards, things like weapons that you can unlock with, just pretty much the same mechanic that most covenants have. You give something and you get something in return, something worth your while. And I feel like that'd be great, because right now the covenants, they're not that good, and we need something that will revolutionize PvP, or else the game is just gonna die. Now, a lot of people knew that this, the PvP was already bad, and for the most part that's why I didn't really want to make a video. I didn't think it was necessary, because most people already knew. But this is just an idea for the DLC, a covenant that encourages PvP. And I don't mean, one of those shitty covenants like the whatever the fuck it's called, the Way of Blue, where you just invade to help gankers. No, not shit like that. Do not even think that that's appropriate to do. That's very just boring, and it just gives a host a bigger advantage. When you invade, you should have a chance. But anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting about the PvP, because a lot of people already know that it has issues. There's no doubt about it. It's really no secret, and ranting isn't really gonna do anything. It's pretty much just a waste of time. I should be talking about things that are relevant. So anyway, my last tip or wish for the DLC is very simple, actually, and I have not actually seen a lot of people talk about this, but it's weapon variety. I feel like they should add more weapons into this game. Now, when I say weapons, I mean weapons, unique weapons, I was thinking something like the twin blades from Dark Souls 2. Why are they not in this game? Why did they get put out? Or why did they get taken out? Sorry, I don't understand. They were very cool weapons, and they should have stayed in this game. They had a lot of potential. I guess they're not very historically correct, but then again, neither is like this greatsword this guy's using right here. So I guess that's not the reason, but they really should have added the twin blades in. Hopefully we will see them in the DLC. I really hope we do. They could also add things like flails, you know, or the ball and chain, however you want to refer to it. I feel like that would be so incredibly refreshing for a Dark Souls game, because nobody has ever seen something like a flail, for example, and it would bring up so many opportunities for PvP. You know, people would actually want to replay the game more because there's a new weapon, you want to test it out. How does it work with bosses? How do certain NPCs react to it? Blah blah blah. There's just, it opens a lot of doors, and I feel like it's just a good idea to add in a new variety or type of weapons, like a flail, a swinging weapon, or whatever, you know, the chain weapon. And of course there's loads of issues with the fact that it could be OP when it begins, or when it's implemented at first, but honestly I'm sure they could fix it. They always you know, manage to fix the weapon statistics eventually, even though the Drake sword is still kind of OP. But I feel like it's a very, very good idea. And if you guys have any other like weapon ideas, right now I only have the flail. They could, you know, pretty much every other weapon is in the game. There's maces, there's swords, broadswords, pikes, spears, great swords, short swords, you know. There's so many swords, but there's no flails, and it's a very unique weapon, to say the least. That's probably why but they should add something at least. I don't know, it's very hard to tell, but I definitely feel like something like new would really refresh the game. But anyway, that's all the ideas I have for now. I know I stuttered like a little bitch in the last part here, but I'm sorry. I mean, my videos aren't scripted, so it's kind of hard to think of things to say on the spot. I hope you guys can understand that. That's kind of the reason why a lot of my commentary is all over the place sometimes. I don't have a tendency to repeat what I say, but it does happen occasionally, so excuse me for that. But this is the fight I was talking about, and this is cancer. Literally, this is the absolute most cancerous fight I've had on Dark Souls so far. And I haven't PvP'd a lot, but this has got to be the biggest cunt on Dark Souls ever. So I killed his phantom, or should I say I partook in the killing of his phantom. He actually got molested by the other guys, and he comes over here, he heals, which is fine, you know, healing is fine. Hey, I have Estus, he has Estus, you know, you can heal, who cares? But then he summons another phantom, and then he summons another one, and you know, it makes me so sad that there's nothing I can do about it. At this point, there is just nothing I can do. I can throw Lloyd's Talisman at him, I can throw firebombs at him, he will still heal, he will still have phantoms, and there's absolutely shit all I can do. And you know, that covenant I was talking about, this would help. You know, if I were to invade with another person with a little bit more Estus, with a little bit more stamina and a little bit more health, that would increase the chance Jesus Christ, that would increase the chances tremendously. And a lot of people overlook the actual like how necessary every little aspect is when it comes. Look at this, and he gets, dude, fuck you, dude, motherfucker. Look at this, motherfucker. Jesus Christ, I actually almost got triggered again. But I don't really get mad at games anymore. I used to get so fucking mad at games, but as you can see, or you can't see yet, but I do fucking die. And look at it, look at this fucking connection. What is this guy? Jesus Christ, it's just so cancerous. I can't even bear to watch it again. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. If you have your own ideas, leave them in the comments, or make a response video. That's something I want you guys to do if you have the opportunity to record and whatnot. Please do it, because I want to see your guys' opinions, and I know a lot of you can record, so please do. But anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Bye bye.